All going on is most certainly due to the Most High, the God of patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And peace to you in the name of Jesus. This is your brother Elisha Israel of the household of faith. I count it truly a blessing each and every single time that I can come before you to preach the word of God, and never do I count it as a thing to do so. It's just a little bit about the household of faith. We meet every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We live stream right here at the Israel Teach YouTube channel, as well as on our website, which is www.israelteach.org. If you have been edified through this ministry, you can leave a donation at our website, www.israelteach.org. 100% of the proceeds go to the work of the ministry, not in our pockets. Also, this book is available on Amazon and other places where books are sold. For Then Shall Be Great Tribulation, along with other books, Into Egypt Again with Ships, Hair Like Wool, Feet Like Burned Brass, The Color of Jesus and Burning Truths Concerning the Messiah, and the Pagan Origins of Christian Holidays. And a book that I will be reading from today, Killing Black Innocents, the program to control African-American reproduction from slavery's end to the present-day self-inflicted genocide. You know, when that came into the realization of just what abortion was doing and how it was decimating our people in particular, and quite frankly, just life in general, I was really it really touched me in a way and said, well, least I can do is try to bring awareness to the situation. So that's why, you know, I talk about that situation, talk about the issue of abortion quite frequently on this page. Today, brothers and sisters, I want to deal with this this actress who made some comments concerning the attack on a woman's right to choose. And this is from CNN. It says, Alicia Milano, why the time is now for a sex strike. Yes, you heard that right. So this is from today. This evening, a few hours ago. Okay. It says, calling for a sex strike as a way to protest restrictions on abortion has sparked a powerful response. Sure, it's been a mixed reaction, but it got the country talking about the GOP's undeniable war on women. Okay, so just let me read this editor's note. Okay, so it says Alicia Milano is an actor and activist who helped #MeToo go viral, who lives in LA and works in Georgia. Alicia Wilson is an activist, organizer, and mother. The views expressed in this commentary belong to the authors. Okay, so let me just say that. Okay, but a lot of people share this view. Okay, so it says sure, it's been a mixed reaction, but it got the country talking about the GOP's undeniable war on women. And let's face it, with so much going on every day in the news, sometimes we need an extreme response to get national attention. So now that we have your attention, our reproductive rights are blatantly and systematically being stripped away before our very eyes. Abortion care is a normal and a sometimes necessary medical procedure that anti-choice activists have strategically chipped away at abortion rights and access for decades with the hopes of overturning Roe v. Wade. Okay, so I'm gonna keep reading. The attempts to treat women as second-class citizens have become increasingly brazen. And just last week, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signed the Heartbeat Bill, which bans most abortions as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy. The bill also allows a fetus to be counted in the census and can be claimed as a dependent minor on income taxes. All right, it's a little bit more I want to read. Just give me a moment. Making notes on things I want to come back to, just so you get a larger scope of what's being said. Then I'll come back. Georgia is the 4th state to pass a 6-week ban this year and is one of the 16 states working to pass such legislation. None of these bans have yet to take effect, and while they will be challenged in court, they are part of an alarming trend. The attacks on women and abortion rights don't stop there. In Alabama, lawmakers are scheduled to vote on a bill that would ban nearly all abortions with a single exception in cases involving a serious health risk to the mother. The Texas legislature had hearings on a bill that would allow a woman who has an abortion to be charged with capital murder, a crime that is punishable by death in the state. And there was a bill in Ohio that required the removal and replacement of an ectopic pregnancy when a fertilized egg attaches itself outside the uterus, which is a medical impossibility. Let's see. All of these bills have the same singular purpose: to make it up to the Supreme Court. The sponsor of Alabama's pending abortion bill, Representative Terry Collins, openly said that the bill's goal was to spark litigation that was forced the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade. Anti-choice legislatures speak with alarming candor, and their intentions are very clear. They want to take away all control pregnant people have over their own bodies. Peace to everybody that's listening. Brother from Canada and Sister Ruth, peace to you. 60% of abortions are, misprint here anyway, or misspelling, or grammatical error here. Sorry. 60% of abortions are performed by independent providers in our country, according to the 2017 Abortion Care Network report. And advocates on the ground are doing incredible and often thankless work. Wow. Groups like Sister Song, Women of Color, Reproductive Justice Collective are fighting for the human right to maintain personal bodily autonomy. I'm gonna come back. Organizations like Feminist Women's Health Center in Georgia and ARC Southeast in 6 southern states, including Georgia, are doing advocacy and education work and funding and practical support, respectively. The Abortion Care Network is another organization working to ensure meaningful access to abortion care across the U.S. through independent abortion providers. Organizers on the ground across the Midwest and South have been working for decades at the state level. These advocates and organizations rarely receive the national attention they need to significantly move the needle, not just to defend against harmful legislation, but to actually move proactive legislation that supports our communities. I'm gonna come back. We need everyone to be engaged in this assault on our reproductive rights. The time for national engagement on this issue is long overdue. We must collectively reject these restrictions on our basic human rights and dignity in every way that we can. This flood of anti-abortion legislation is completely outrageous, and an equally bold response is required. And so we call on people whose rights are endangered to participate in a sex strike. Laws restricting abortion rights and access are a targeted attempt to erase decades of hard-fought gains for women's autonomy. A sex strike is another way for people who have the potential to get pregnant to call attention. The people, you mean women? The people who have the potential to get pregnant to call attention to this systematic onslaught and assert the power to change our own destinies. Systematic protest, school word, is a long-standing, effective, and empowering method to fight for change. In the 1600s, Iroquois women refused to engage in sex as a way to stop unregulated warfare, and their demands were met. In 2009, activists in Kenya organized a sex strike to force an end the deteriorating relationship between the president and prime minister. The strike lasted 7 days and ended when the leaders finally agreed to talks. In 2011, Colombia women used a sex strike to get a dangerous 35-mile road repaired. When utilized as part of a broader strategy of coordinated action, sex strikes can raise awareness and achieve a wide range of political objectives. This is just one tool available in the fight for reproductive justice and abortion access. We must also support the organizations and individuals working courageously on the front lines by supporting them. At its heart, these attempts to wield control over sex come from a desire to reassert total control over our bodies and reproductive rights. But really, it's about power. Whoever controls reproduction has power. The stakes are extremely high, and a number of lawmakers, many of whom are men, get to make decisions with serious ramifications. We need to pay attention to the incremental challenges to abortion rights and figure out how to resist them both collectively and individually. Abortion access is not just a woman's issue. Abortion is a human rights issue. That's the second or third time I've heard that. Abortion is a labor issue. Abortion is a public health issue. Abortion is an issue for all genders. Yeah, because you're killing males and females. A hashtag sex strike is a way to target straight cisgender men, so they may feel the physical consequences of our reproductive rights being systematically eliminated. I'm gonna read that part again. A sex strike is a way to target straight cisgender men, so they may have the physical consequences of our reproductive rights being systematically eliminated. Peace to everybody that's listening. This form of protest has I'm not having other brothers comment. This form of protest has the potential to raise the issue far beyond the usual groups engaged in debates about reproductive health. It's a way to ignite conversation and help everyone understand the gravity of the situation and the immediate need for swift action. Our vision is a world where people can all thrive. We want everyone to live healthy lives and have control over their sexual reproductive choices. Join us by not having sex until we achieve Join us by not having sex until we achieve full bodily autonomy for all. Brothers and sisters, this is where we've come to where you would actually argue to have the right to kill children. You do not have the right to kill children. Just some of the verbiage, some of the language that's used here, when you think about it, it's a total contradiction. First of all, human life begins at conception. How do you argue and fight for human rights when you're killing in the womb? And you say abortion care is a normal and at times necessary medical procedure. Okay, let's cut the bull. And what I mean by that is, yes, you have issues in which a woman is in danger. But that's not why these abortions are taking place. That's not why. So I'm gonna just read. This is from Killing Black Innocents, the program to control African American reproduction from slavery's end to the present day self-inflicted genocide. See, we have been bamboozled when it comes to abortion. Okay, 25%. We have aborted what would equate to 25% of our current population through abortion. Don't talk to me about human rights. Don't talk to me about what's best for the community. How can you when you killing your babies? And I want to play this for you before I read any further. I want to play this for you. This legislator, this lawmaker out of Georgia. I want to play something for you. What he said. Hopefully you can hear this. I'm trying to turn it up.
RCG, law be a woman's choice. I'm not about to be a male
He said, if you didn't catch that, this is Alabama Representative John Rogers, who says some kids are unwanted. Kill them now or kill them later. What, hang them high, hang them low? I'll play that again.
So you kill them now and kill them later. You right. Some kids are unwanted. So you kill them now and kill them later. You bring them in the world unwanted, unloved. You send them to naked shit. So you kill them now and kill them later.
If you didn't catch that, he said some kids are unwanted. You kill them now, kill them later. They come in without love. You don't kill them now, you kill them later at the electric chair. So basically, you are saying, you're justifying abortion because, well, hey, they're going to die anyway. We all going to die anyway, unless we live into the second coming of the Messiah. You don't know what a person is going to be. You do not have the right to determine that by killing. You can say, okay, you're not going to be anything anyway. How many people who have positively impacted humanity came from dire circumstances? How many people you cannot tell what a person will be based on where they start. So she said, now back to this foolishness in this article. She said abortion care is normal and at times a necessary medical procedure. Now I want to read something from page 88 of this book. Because see, he speaks to the mentality. They're using where they're not saying when you read about abortion and those who are pro-choice. They don't use that kind of language, but he talked about ultimately what it's all about. Killing. Kill them now or kill them later. That's what he said. One of the most important thing that anybody that's above you in government should have is a moral compass. And if you really think it is moral to kill them now so you don't have to kill them later, that's unfortunate. The issue we need to be dealing with, which kind of speaks to this sex strike, is a bunch of people engaged in inappropriate sexual behavior. That's why the abortions are here, because people are having illicit sex and are not valuing the institution of marriage and bringing forth children not in that institution of marriage, and therefore they're getting abortions because abortion is not convenient, because there is no commitment between the two people who laid down. You made the choice when you laid down. It's like you firing a gun and you mad that a bullet came out. You laid down. What you think the potential, anytime you have sex, people on birth control, that's why they give you percentages of effectiveness, because there's always a potential to have children, because that's what it's for. Ultimately, that's the purpose. It's not just to feel good. But see, you have degraded sex to such an extent that it becomes only that which fulfills the carnal desire, as opposed to something that will bring life into the world. And it should be between two individuals who are married. Now, you said white people are sick. I think they demons. That was a black man speaking. You say white people are sick. We can't see. Now, white people have done a lot of stuff to us. Don't get me wrong. And even if you read this book, I talk about the plan that was put forth to ultimately exterminate black people, to control the reproduction of black people. But we have been complicit. or at the few white people say it's white people that's sick. We sick. When you kill, see, America's sick. America have killed approximately 60 million babies. The country, the nation is sick. That's why I say a time of reckoning is coming. So you kill 60 million people, the country is sick. But black people, the rate, you first of all, you look at New York. A couple years ago, they had more, they had fewer live births than births. Why? Because of abortion, New York City. That's how rampant abortion is. And that's how the mayor was talking foolishness. See, but you can't say that we not sick. We definitely sick. Because we are complicit in our own destruction. When you kill 25% of your current population, what would equate to 25% of your current population? When you killing 16 million, you sick. Babies, it's like the children of Israel who sacrificed their children on the altar to the god Molech. Our people and people in general are sacrificing their babies, their progeny, on the altar of convenience. And then I got to say, these whorish women that's going along with this, I just call it what it is. You're gonna talk about what you, and I'm not talking specifically about the ones or the person who wrote this. I'm talking about the mindset that those might have that go along with this. You've been dealing in whoredom, and now you want to talk about having a sex strike. That might be the best. But I'm going to read on page 88. Abortion advocates frequently cite instances of rape and incest to buttress their position to justify abortion. Right? So you got rape and incest, because people say, well, what about rape? What about incest? What about the health of the mother? Well, listen. However, very few women have abortions because of rape or incest. For example, in a 2004 study, which surveyed 1,209 women on the reasons why they sought abortion, 1% of respondents gave rape as a reason, and less than 0.5% cited incest. Okay? Now, understand, it's similar, and why did I say rape and incest? Because it's similar when it comes to the health of the mother. The vast majority of abortions are being performed because the woman is, or baby rather, is inconvenient, and they separate it into different categories: school, not with the father, etc. Ultimately, it's about a baby not being convenient. And I want to kill something real quick. Not a baby, but I want to kill a thought real quick. Give me a second. As I'm looking for this, I want to go to another place. So it says, the author that says this is an attempt to treat women as second-class citizens. So you try to compare being treated as second-class citizens on behalf of women, but how is the human life inside of you being treated? I want to read some. I want to read some real quick because you saying it's whites that create these evil ideas. Listen to what the Lord said about Israel, because I want to kill that thought. I'm not saying they're not dealing in wickedness. Please don't think that. But it's not like we innocent. Like we can't think we gotta that's no. You cannot justify killing 25% of your current population. What would equate to 25%? In no way, shape, or form. We're not talking about the case. Understand, our people, I'm putting our people going into these abortion clinics have killed more people than any other KKK could ever imagine. We have killed way more people that have been lynched, way more people that have been murdered in the streets, and I am not by cops, and I'm not justifying that. I'm not justifying the murder what we do to ourselves. I'm not justifying those who were killed by race soldiers. I'm not justifying any of that. But what I am saying is that we are complicit in a plan of destruction. It's like somebody saying, hey, this is poison over here. I made it for you. Drink it. And you drink it. See, we were not. Now we've been shackled and forced to do a lot of things. We were not forced to kill our children. You got to be real. So now this is Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter. And just to kill that thought about some other people being more wicked, he said, oh, generation, see ye the word of the Lord. I'm in Jeremiah 2:31. Oh, generation, see ye the word of the Lord. Have I been a wilderness unto Israel, a land of darkness? So he asked that question. And he said, wherefore say my people, we are lords, we will come no more unto thee. He said, can a maid forget her ornaments, or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me days without number. So he's talking about his people. Now, what's so significant about that is that we were the only people that God manifested himself unto directly. So you talking about some people who don't know God, some heathens. And then you talking about the people of God who turn their back on God and deal in straight sin and iniquity. So then it says, he said, can a man forget her ornaments, or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me days without number. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? He said, therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. So you didn't taught the wicked their ways. See, you can't get around it. You can't get around it. We have to be accountable, and that's a part of the problem. We don't want to be accountable for our actions. We want to look at somebody else, and please don't think I'm saying they're not couple and they gonna pay. That's another thing the Bible tells you. People gonna pay for what he's done to his people, but at the same time, we should not be complicit in iniquity. And this is asinine to talk about. First of all, talking about abortion as normal. If you look and see what an abortion is, it's nothing normal about. Well, it's become normalized, but it is murder. When you crushing the head of a baby and vacuum sucking it out of the womb, and then selling the body parts or throwing away the body parts, they end up in vaccines and all kinds of stuff. How is that okay? It's okay if you quite frankly have no idea about morality. So now you want to say this is second-class citizenship. This is not second-class citizenship. And then you want to say this attack on women and abortion rights. My question is, what about the right of the child in the womb? You got states in different areas where they're talking about you can have abortion up into 9 months. Clearly that's a baby. It's a baby. It's life at the time of conception. And it has personhood. But you so wicked that you won't protect the life in the womb, but you want to talk about human rights when there's a human in the womb. So you talk about a fetus and a trimester, but like he said, kill him now, kill him later. So it says restrictions on our basic human rights and dignity. Again, what about the human rights of the child? What about the human rights of the child? And understand this, you see oftentimes this, that was argued in Roe v. Wade, that this is a right to privacy. You cannot kill in the murder, specifically murder in the privacy of your own home. I don't know what you're talking about. You said, but ultimately it's not the Most High who does all these things. I hope let me be clear. I never said it was the Most High who did these, who causing people to murder. So you want to say see, that's why we don't. Let me say this. That's why you need to stop writing verses. Okay. This has nothing to do. I'm gonna do the teaching, or at least on this page. That had nothing to do with what we're talking about. He said Isaiah. So then you got to, man, you come on here. You got to deal with the content. You're dealing with the Bible. And then you got people on here. I'm going to tell y'all something. Just be cool. And what I mean by that is you don't got to write nothing. Just listen. Because clearly we need to listen and get some instruction. He said, I formed the light. He's talking about the Most High. He said, I formed the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. That had nothing to do with what we're talking about. And the Lord, he does. He will, for example, he will bring evil upon you or allow things to happen. That, brothers and sisters, is separate from people decide to say, give me $800 or however much it costs, so I'll go into an abortion clinic and vacuum suck this baby out. That's not what this is talking about. When you look at Job, for example, or when you look at Job, for example, when you look at or Micaiah and Ahab and Jehoshaphat, and how he brought that evil upon him, how you will allow things to happen. That's true, but people are free agents still and have agency and are still making decisions. Two separate things. I'm talking about specifically what people are doing. That ain't got nothing to do with anything else. Yeah, so then it says, so she said, we must collectively reject these restrictions on our basic human rights. So now, don't you have a basic human right? Don't this country talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? So you supposed to have life, or liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So when does life begin? This is from the Human Life Bill. The committee, this is on page 73 of this book, Killing Black Innocence. So now when they argue Roe v. Wade, Blackman wrote that we need not resolve the difficult question of when life begins, when those trained in respective disciplines of medicine, philosophy, and theology are unable to arrive at any consensus. The judiciary at this point in the development of man's knowledge is not in a position to speculate as to the answers. But that's a lie. People do know when life begins. Furthermore, if you don't know when life begins, how in the world can you say, well, we just gonna have abortion, and if you could be potentially killing, you would have to not deal in abortion if you didn't know when life began. You wouldn't say, oh, well, I might be killing somebody. It's a potential 50-50, so I'm gonna go ahead with it. When when you put people in jail for killing or for murder, now this is what I say here on page 73. I say, considering the possible destruction of life, how could the judiciary ethically overturn laws legalizing abortion if it was uncertain of when life commenced? Furthermore, Blackman's assertion that no consensus existed concerning the issue of when life begins, at least in the areas of science and medicine, is simply untrue. In the Senate Judiciary Committee meeting on the Human Life Bill, the committee summarized the issue of when life begins as follows. Physicians, biologists, and other scientists agree that conception marks the beginning of the life of a human being, a being that is alive. and is a member of the human species. There is overwhelming agreement on this point in countless medical, biological, and scientific writings. That was from I want to tell you where that was from. That's on page 50. Excuse me. Let me show you the page. That was from page. That was on page 73. Yeah, so you have life in the womb. You have life in the womb. I want to read something else here. Let's go to Exodus, the 21st chapter. Because you talk about human rights and dignity. How is it dignity when you getting sucked out of the womb? You baby feeling pain. Heartbeat and everything. It's just tissue. I'm gonna read this. This is Exodus 21 and verse 22. So from a biblical perspective, this is that baby in the womb has a right, just like has equal rights, just like somebody outside of the womb. This is Exodus 21 and 22. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished according as the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. In other words, if a man or two men are fighting, and in the process of their conflict, a woman who is expecting or is pregnant, she's forced into labor, maybe she's hit or some stress, some kind of way, based on what they're doing, she's forced into premature labor, and the baby is delivered. The one that caused that is still fine. See, if the Lord didn't think that the baby had life, he wouldn't find you. Now, nothing happened till the baby came into the world, and nothing happened. The baby didn't die. You still were fined for that. Now, that's your value in the womb. But for $800 or however much an abortion costs, then you can go to your nearest Planned Parenthood and suck the baby out. So you ain't got to be worried about it. Listen to this. He said, and if any mischief follow, I'm in verse 23, Exodus 21 and 23, and if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life. And you talking about basic human rights? You got the right to life, even in the womb. And so he said, if some mischief follow, in other words, if the baby died, the woman went into premature labor and the baby died, that man, capital punishment, life for life. How in the world did we get to a point where we so low, we don't value life at all? See, that's why I say you can't look at white people on this one. Because at a certain point, even after all they've done, I'm not just counting none of that. You watch the channel any amount of time, I'm about truth. And we didn't call hell in this country. We didn't call hell wherever we've been at. Right? Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, brothers and sisters, we cannot justify killing each other. We just murdering each other. You safe in a war zone than you are in Baltimore, Chicago, Inglewood. You listen. We have to start taking accountability. We got to take accountability for this. How many people? And then we done killed more. Let me read something else from this book. I just want to read something here. Because we are doing things that are totally out of order, brothers and sisters. Totally out of pocket. This book is a few years old. But this is from top 10 leading causes of death or 10 leading causes of death among African Americans. Now in 2006, 308,000 black babies were aborted. That is a conservative number. Okay? So now understand that was more than heart disease, cardiovascular, heart disease, diabetes, homicide, chronic lower respiratory diseases, HIV. The top 10, okay, so it was 308,000 abortions. And then the next highest one was diseases of the heart was 72,000. And then total, the top 10 of that year was 597,000. But 308,009 were babies aborted. So when we talking about homicide, you crying in the street because Ray got shot. Yeah, it's a tragedy, but you want to cry for them 2 abortions? See, we got to keep, when he say kill them now, kill them later. See, we're doing a bunch of things that are inappropriate. The first thing we need to do is repair the institution of marriage. And ain't nobody else gonna do that for us. Black men and black women are at war with one another. At least in America. They are at war with one another. And quite frankly, a lot of our sisters, and don't get me wrong, it's not saying the brothers don't got blame. A lot of our sisters have taken and adopted these feminist principles, and listen, feminism, the idea that women have been treated as second-class citizens who were denied things in society. Black men did not do that. That was an issue between European men in America and European women in America. And they're using you in regard to numbers. And now you have foolishly accepted that and then use the state to go to war with your man. And then the man, in response, he's doing things that are inappropriate. You got men, even though black men, if I'm not mistaken, pay more child support than anybody. But at the same time, it's like you got so much fatherlessness in the community. We don't even have communities. So you have a recipe for disaster. You have people coming together who are not in the union of any type of marriage in illicit sexual behavior, dealing in illicit sexual behavior, bringing forth children, and the children don't have what they need because you didn't start off in the right way. And so now you are dealing as a single mother, right? Or now you a man, you did having wages, gardens, and all these things because you are not trying to pay child support or whatever the case may be. And then y'all just at war. And so now a man is in the position of a woman and a woman is in the position of a man. So now when you do bring forth children, the women are quite frankly masculine. Why? Because they're doing the work of a man. And the man is not driven, not lacking purpose, all these things. We have to get back to the Bible, brothers and sisters, because it is through Torah, through the instruction, through the word of God that you find out what you should do, how you should be, what you should be. It shows us how to live. It shows us from the very beginning what the institution of marriage is for. It shows us what a man is. It shows us what a woman is. It shows us how these two would come together and bring forth life and how we were to care for that life and nurture that life and direct that life so that life can do the same thing that we did. It's not about you just hooking up with somebody who you don't know. Really, that says something, quite frankly, it says something about you and how you value yourself when you allow your carnal desire to just run amok. And what I mean by that is you go sleep with somebody and everybody. Why? You got to get this desire filled, putting yourself in all kind of danger. The danger of STDs, the danger of unwanted pregnancy, the emotional baggage that comes along with illicit sexual behavior, particularly for women. So how is it how are you supposed to be? How are you supposed to feel when somebody treat you like a dump? Where it ain't even the next morning, they already calling you an Uber. I'm just keep it 100, as the young people say. That's what's happening. And then out of those situations, you bringing forth children. And then you can't figure out why it ain't working out. That's if you keep the baby. Then you got to say, well, I ain't ready for no baby right now. And then get an abortion. So you're gonna add on to the wrong through murder. Then, so that's what I'm saying. So you using hashtag sex strike. We gonna withhold sex. So again, you saw, I said black men and black women are at war with one another. She even said it. This is a target. This is a way to target straight cisgender men so that they may feel the physical consequences of our reproductive rights being systematically eliminated. You do not have the right to kill a child. But then to use fornication. Cause let me just point that out. Cause either way, you wrong. I'm in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians. Just to show you something. So you targeting straight men. So now 1 Corinthians 6 and 9, it said, know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God. Be not deceived, neither fornicators. So you dealing in illicit sexual behavior, no idolaters, no adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, them the homosexuals. Homosexual men, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. But you talking about a sex drive. So let me get this straight. You want to be able to kill your babies, and in response to not being able to kill your babies through legislation, or they saying just wait a while. They saying just wait a few weeks. Abortion ain't bad. Even if that's the intent right now, I understand what they're saying. Right now, say, well, we got a time to. I don't want to. I want to kill this baby immediately. So, matter of fact, this is my response to this. I am going to withhold sex. Do you realize how wicked that is? To say, you've been dealing in whoredom this whole time, but in order to stop the whoredom, it's not because you're trying to find God. It's so you can continue to murder. You lost your damn mind. He says, know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. And such were some of you. Now he's talking to believers. You used to be a fornicator. You used to be an idolater. You used to be an adulterer. You used to be a homosexual. You used to be a thief. He says, and such were some of you, but ye are washed, but ye are sanctified, but ye are justified in the name of the Lord Jesus and by the Spirit of God. So you don't want to do those things anymore. That's when you stop. But you, on the other hand, you want to stop only. You have a moratorium on fornication only so that you can have the right to kill your child when you want to. Man, it's over. It's over. It's over. Now, some would say, well, what about married women that are with this feminism? Well, from a biblical perspective, if you were holding sex from your husband, because that's the only one you should be laying down with, that's wrong too, if you're doing it for this. Let's see why you should do it, if you're going to do it. First of all, I'm going to just read, I'm in 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter. Here, Paul writes, now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Now he's saying, hey, he's not talking about for a moratorium so you can kill your baby or something. He's saying to be like him, he wasn't married at all because he was focused on the gospel. But then it's in his mission, because he was an apostle to the Gentiles. He said, nevertheless, to avoid fornication, To avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. To avoid fornication. Why do you want to avoid fornication? Because you're killing 25, what would equate to 25% of your population. That's why. Because you got 72% of children today that are born. That means if they escape the vacuum and abortionists, if they escape that, they are 72% of them are born, of our children are born outside of the confines of marriage, outside of wedlock. So this gonna sound bad, but obviously I don't care. We have become a nation of bastards, illegitimate children. Several generations of this, and now this becomes abortion is normalized. Children out of wedlock, something that a few generations ago, just a couple generations ago, was seen as something that was unacceptable. Now it is normal. Homosexuality amongst our people. To where at one point it was seen as unacceptable, a sin. Now it's normal and acceptable. It's over. He said, nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. So respect each other. Then it says, the wife have not power of her own body. Wait a minute. So it ain't supposed to be no hashtag sex strike in no marriage. That's not supposed to be. We'll see under what conditions that could be. It says, the wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. So the man ain't supposed to be depriving his wife of conjugal rights. Neither is she supposed to be depriving her husband of wifely duties. That's a duty. That's a duty. It says, defraud ye not one another, except to be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer. So if you are going to defraud one another, in other words, if you are going to not deal in sex, he said, let it be for a time when you get yourself open to just totally focusing on God through fasting and prayer. And come together again. But when that fasting and prayer is over, when that fasting and prayer is over, y'all come together. He says that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. When you mess around, already. I would say this: if a married woman tell a man, I'm gonna keep it plain. If a married woman tell a man, I'm going on strike in solidarity with these women that's dealing with this sex strike over abortion rights, you already know she got an attitude. You already got a whole bunch of problems in that marriage. You already know. So why are you on that sex strike? You mess around, be on that sex strike by yourself. I didn't seen that, and it wasn't about no abortion, right? It was somebody trying to control somebody else. Now you say this is an issue of power. These men are telling you what you can't do with your body, but government does have the right to regulate murder, to regulate in regard to ensure that people's human rights are protected. You do not have the right to just kill babies. You don't. Then it says after you trying to make war on straight men. Men already being attacked. Period. Masculinity is being attacked. Period. But then you say our vision is a world where people can all thrive, but the people in the womb not gonna thrive because you done vacuumed them out. You done crushed their skull and vacuumed them out. Our vision is a world where people can all thrive. We want everyone to live healthy lives except the children. That doesn't make any sense. And have control over their sexual and reproductive choices. You do have control over your sexual reproductive choices. But once you have a choice to lay down or not. You have that choice. People use birth control somewhere, but you have a choice to whether or not you go lay down. But once you lay down, you have made a choice that potentially a baby can come. So when a baby can come, now you can say, "Oh, I want to lay down, and I don't want the potential to have a baby." Wait a minute. That's like jumping out the window and say, "I don't want to hit the ground." You just jumped out the window, though. Nobody forced you to jump. Were you thrown out the window? No. And again, I can see you talking about rape. Even in the case of rape, you compound the crime through murder. I know that's hard, but it is what it is. Because the baby is innocent. The baby is innocent. See, the baby didn't commit the crime. The rapist committed the crime. I want to read some here. And this is give me a moment. So now this is Ezekiel the 18th chapter in verse 4. It says, "Behold, our souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die." Right? So he holds who accountable? The one that committed the sin. Then it said, "But if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right, and have not eaten upon the mountains, neither have lifted up his eyes to idols of the house of Israel, neither have defiled his neighbor's wife, neither have come near to a mistress woman," because that's unclean. That's another time when you shouldn't be dealing with your wife. This is a side note. "And have not oppressed any, but have restored to the debtor his pledge, has spoiled none by violence, have given his bread to the hungry, and have covered the naked with a garment. He that hath not given forth upon usury, neither have taken an increase, that have withdrawn his hand from iniquity, and have executed true judgment between man and man, hath walked in my statutes, and hath kept my judgments to deal truly. He is just, he shall surely live, saith the Lord God. If he beget a son that is a robber, a shedder of blood, and that doeth the like to any one of these things, and that doeth not any of those duties, but even hath eaten upon the mountains and defiled his neighbor's wife," meaning adultery, "hath oppressed the poor and needy, hath spoiled by violence, hath not restored the pledge, and hath lifted up his eyes to the idols, hath committed abomination, hath given forth upon usury," interest, that's what that's talking about, "hath taken increase, shall he then live? He shall not live. He hath done all these abominations. He shall surely die. His blood shall be upon him." See, it's about what the individual does. You are punishing the baby for what the father did. That's like somebody saying, it's like the father does something wrong. He can rob the bank, and you come get his children and put them in jail. You're like, "What you doing? What I do?" "Hey, your father a crook." "Well, your father a criminal." "But what they got to do with me?" So you got a vision of a world where people can all thrive. Apparently, you don't want everybody to thrive. And your vision, I don't see why you don't see it's finished. I don't see why you don't understand it is finished. Now, the brother over here, he said, he's talking about fire. You know, he got some matrix terminology talking about the man is a disease. Man was created to become God. However, he continued to sin. So fire is the purging. Jesus said, he tells you, but concerning Jesus, Paul writes in flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not God and that obey not his gospel. That's how he's coming back. I'm in Isaiah the 24th chapter. And here you see he's giving you a picture of what's going to happen of Israel, but also what's going to happen to this earth. He says, therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Isaiah the 13th chapter. Why fire? Because it's a purging about to happen. Isaiah the 13th chapter. See, and this is just a sign of the iniquity that is rampant amongst us. You can't be talking about God bless these United States of America and you killing all these babies. You got all this, you got all this iniquity everywhere, but you somehow gonna be blessed. Eventually your cup of iniquity is gonna be full, and then destruction is coming. That's what people don't realize. People don't understand this book. That's a principle. That's you reap what you sow. That's a universal principle. Furthermore, you don't see the United States specifically in prophecy. I'm talking about in the future. You don't see that. You do not see that. But Isaiah the 13th chapter and verse 11. Well, in verse 9 it says, behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. See, you can't continue in your foolishness. You can't continue in your foolishness. Now I'm going to tell you something else, and I'm going to be done. Brothers and sisters, feminism is not the way. That is not what we need. We need to get back to basics. We need it to be where a man is a man and a woman is a woman. Right now, you got the complete opposite. And then the child, you want to kill the child. You've lost your mind. And with that, brothers and sisters, I want to remind you that we're at the Household of Faith meet every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We live stream right here on the Israel Teach YouTube channel, as well as at www.israelteach.org. Like the video before you leave. Also, if you've been edified through the ministry, you can leave a donation. 100% of the proceeds go to the work of the ministry. You can do that at www.israelteach, one word, ISRAELTEACH.org. Okay. Also, this new book, For There Shall Be Great Tribulation, is available where books are sold online, Amazon and other places. Also, other books, Killing Black Innocents, when I was reading from today, Into Egypt Again with Ships, Hair Like Wool, Feet Like Burned Brass, and The Pagan Origins of Christian Holidays. And again, of course, the newest one, For Them, Great Tribulation. Be on the lookout for some others. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Some others are coming out shortly in the next few months. So keep that in mind. And with that, brothers and sisters, it's always my prayer that you were edified.